special, and then I did something called Dream Child, which is a really interesting movie. And then I spent a year doing that, and pretty awesome. Yeah,
24 total on that side?
Yeah. Quite experience. One of the funniest issues they spent thousands of dollars trying to get these rocks to be remote control for the goblins. They were supposed to chase the goblins. And then finally, we were all talking to them, in the Buster King movie, they just put a wire on the rocks, and they worked perfectly, and that's what they ended up doing. Just like months. So I'll check it out. It's easy to see.
You guys wrap around, come down.
It was a great experience.
They're wrapping around here.
Check it out. Does anybody ever introduce David Bowie?
Okay, what's left on the far side?
David Bowie is my neighbor. Next question.
Hi. First, Brent, I want to say that you are one of my very favorite actors of all time. I'm such a huge fan of yours.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, really.
My question for all of you is actually about the new website that you did on Family Guy. Was that, did you guys do it all together, or did you have to do like individual sessions? What was that like?
Individual.
Yeah, I was by myself. Yeah, we were alone, except we were with several of Stephanie McFarlane. He did everybody else.
He is awesome.
He is a genius, really.
But didn't he all come with you, or no?
I didn't.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, yeah, he's pretty amazing. They all are awesome.
It was, I'm a huge fan of him.
10 more?
An enormous fan of American Dad.
10 more.
And I was so excited when I got the script and saw that they had Stewie doing the cool whip joke with my name. They always write these scripts that all good in their British. For me, stuff gets cut. And I thought, this is probably not going to get cut. It's going to all better, which is what they do. And I made that. We had to go in now straight beach. And I made that right after my wife. That's actually like that's what it is.
You know, not to promote myself at all, but to promote myself, I actually just did an episode of The Simpsons. I don't know when that's going to be on, but I was like beyond thrilled to be on The Simpsons because it's 20 years, 24 years, something like that. And I played a role. The most unique thing for me, I played a robot.
I know a guy who used to play a robot. He kind of set the standard for what it's like to be a robot.
Well, exactly. And I modeled my performance after him, actually.
After the guy that played Twiggy on Buff Rogers.
Twiggy? Twiggy on Buck Rogers was very close to David Bowie, actually.
Thank you. Before we take the next question, for those of you who just came in at the end and didn't hear the first announcement, if we refrain from using flash photography, we appreciate that. Thank you. Next question.
I'm actually pursuing a law degree PhD because mostly of watching Star Trek at about 5 or 6 years old and thinking about the questions that you asked. So thank you for that, first of all. I have a question for you, Brent. You see in the evolution of David's character from the very beginning to the end how at the beginning he has this sort of childlike innocence, and it goes on and it sort of becomes sort of ingrained into a little more human, I guess. Was that sort of from like innocence and sort of worrying on his sleep that he was a robot and to sort of assimilating more into it? Was that writers, the director, or your influence who said this is how we need to take that character? How did that evolve into that?
It was all me. No, actually, honestly, Gene Roddenberry, from the very first meeting I had with him, about the character. He said, here's my idea. He's going to start as a blank slate, and as the years go on, he's going to get closer and closer and closer to being human, until by the very end, he is so close, but not quite still human. And so it was really Gene's idea from the beginning, because that's the way they wrote it.
And that character being very close to being human, but not quite getting there, lives on in the Kardashian show.
Well, they've obviously studied our series, me in particular.
Thank you.
I'd like to study them in particular.
Really great stuff you guys have done. What's your dream role? What phone call do you hope you get?
I want to be on Doctor Who.
I don't have a phone.
David Bowie just brings you messages right now.
No, you know what? I'll tell you what. I was waiting for a phone call. There was a series I wanted to be on so badly, and it was being cast by the same person who cast Next Generation. And I grew a mustache and a little thing, just and hung around trying to, get her to cast me on Deadwood, because I wanted to be on that more than any show ever. It didn't happen. As well, you know.
What role was that you were shooting for?
I don't know. I thought I could be like Buffalo Bill or something like that,
It would have been great as the type of character.
I would. It's a very subtle joke, ladies and gentlemen.
That was just for you.
I appreciate it.
Gates, your dream role?
I'm waiting for the phone call saying we all have health care nationally.
That's what they called us and told us about healthcare. Great with Hello Gates. This is the president.
That's my favorite. That's what
You now have healthcare. That would be great, actually.
Yeah, let's go. What did you eat today?
Yes.
Okay.
I eat twice today.
Good, good.
I know, right?
Yeah. The question that I have for y'all is, what is your favorite bit of promotional, like from anything that you've done, what is your favorite bit of promotional things that you've had to lend your likeness to? Because, Brent, I got this cardboard cutout for me when I was 13 years old. It scares the living heck out of my mom, and I just scared the heck out of my 31-year-old friend. I'm so proud of it. It's you, Dad, pointing laser, and everyone's like, holy smokes, oh my God.
stated.
And then you say, hey, calm down, don't be afraid, it's Brent Spinner.
Star Wars. I really, really wish that I was on the pinball machine. Because it's no, I'm not. Like you guys are playing fun at a pinball machine. I love that pinball machine. I love pinball in general, but that pinball machine is a really good pinball
It
machine.
really is. Have you gotten into the Rocket Poker game? Have you been able to get into that?
No, they know that it's me playing. They actually say, like, the little gate closes off and it says, no, we cannot play this poker game.
Not invited.
Due to authenticity concerns, you may not sell the poker game.
Well, I gotta tell you guys that our pinball machine, the Next Gen, when I went, this is quite a while ago, I went over to France in this little tiny village in Languedoc, and in the cafe, it was the first time ever there was a Star Trek Next Generation pinball machine. It had just come out, right? And it was there in the cafe, I'm like, oh my God, because it wasn't even in France, it still isn't really in France, nobody watches it. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. Even here in this little village, they got rid of it the next month because nobody knew what it was. So, just saying, not everybody loved it, but I loved it.
Yeah. I like mine. What other promotional thing that, well, I'll tell you what, actually. actually. I just got this sent to me by Paramount Licensing to sign off on, was I okay with it? And it is maybe the most thrilling piece of licensing ever, from my point of view. It was my Pez head. When you get your head on the top of a Pez, where else can you go from there?
For me, I think it was, when the first action figure came out, and my son was like, I think he was like 2 by then, and he was like, oh, a mommy doll. I think everybody got one when that was
Awesome, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Mr. Spider, Mr. Wheaton, I know you're both having guest roles on some of my favorite shows, You on Alphas and You on Leverage. I'm just wondering if you could share anything about that without being too spoiler-rich. And if for all of you, Garrett, if there's any upcoming guest roles that you're excited about that you want to let us know about.
Chaos, the character I play on Leverage, figures very prominently in the third season finale of Leverage this year. Dr. Parrish on Eureka figures very prominently in the season finale, the 4th season of Eureka, and then comes back for a number of episodes in season 5. And we actually just wrapped the entire series night before last. And it's really sad. We're all really upset about it. It was, I can tell you, years and years ago, I went to a very tiny con. You and Johnny and Patrick were there. And it was right after I'd started my blog. And I was like, why do they want me to be there? They've got these guys. And I don't know, apparently it was because, I guess something to show or something like that. And so I went to this thing. And during the panel, I asked Frakes, the way that I remember it, we all really liked each other. And we were all very close, and there was really a family, and there was this sense of like when the world becomes us and them, like actors and everybody else, like we were really us, right? And I asked Johnny if that was just the way that I remembered it, or if it really was that way. He said, no, it really was that way. It was really like lightning and bottle. And I have not felt like that on a show until and exactly. Like that to a certain degree also. But that's what's coming up for me. And if you're familiar with my book, Memories of the Future Volume 1, Memories of the Future Volume 2 will be out before the end of the year. I just have to finish that.
Brett? What? Any what?
Any guest roles you're
Yes,
excited about?
well, I recently did, and I'm really excited about this, an episode of The Simpsons.
Play Twiggy on The Simpsons.
Exactly.
So the animated is great.
Exactly. And I did do an episode of Alphas. That's it. I had a really nice time. I really don't want to spoil it for you, but let me just say I am super No, I have no idea. I haven't seen any of it or anything, but it was really fun to do. I got to work with a great actor, David Strathairn, who was like, one of the best. What else can I tell you?
You tell them about The Simpsons.
I recently had the privilege of being on one of my favorite shows, The Simpsons. It's the longest run. It's been on the air, I think, for 24 years now, I think, something like that. And I played, you won't believe this. Actually, when I said it before, I said I played a robot. In fact, I played several robots on The Simpsons, but they all sound exactly alike. Very much like that legendary robot, Twiggy.
Yeah. Thank you, Brett. Gates, we were talking backstage a little bit.
And I forget the question.
Yeah, upcoming roles, but we also were talking a bit about what you've been busy with lately.
Well, Well, I had done something for Franklin Bash, and it just got picked up. They're very funny, those two guys. My friend Jason Hensler directed that, and he's awesome. And I have been, for the last 2 years, I've been artistic director of Ensemble Studio Theater in Los Angeles. We have a company, there's a sister company in New York, and we do new plays. And I developed with another company a 3-theater complex in Los Angeles, in Atwater Village, called ABT. And I'm directing something now. And in fact, Denise is an art company, Denise Crosby, and she is in the show I'm directing, which will open in October. So, www.ensemblestudio.com.
Can we get a close-up?
And actually, all the money that is earned by me is all donated to our nonprofit. It's a nonprofit organization, and I donate everything to that. So, thank you.
Next question.
Hi, Will. I was running.
Oh, hey, you got engaged today.
Congratulations.
I got to be part of it.
I just wanted to say thank you because, of course, when it happened, I was just like, oh my God.
I know, I was there.
And it was special because he's the one that introduced me to Star Trek.
That's awesome. Congratulations to you both.
Did you want to say what happened so people that weren't there?
So I was in the
Walk of Fame.
They let me into the Walk of Fame, which is surprising to me because I cannot walk nor am I famous. But they let me in there, and one of the guys said, "Listen, this guy's going to propose to his girlfriend." And he wondered if they're going to put their your line, and she wants to give him much consideration, and he wants to give you the engagement ring. And if you would just say, "Oh, hey man, I think you dropped this," and give it to him, and I was like,
Very nice.
"Who says no to that?" I can remember every single detail of when I proposed to him, and it's awesome. And to be part of that is rad. So I said yes, and it was great. He got down and he was like, "Oh, this is." I said, "I think you dropped this." And he goes, "Oh yeah, but actually this isn't for me." He turns to his now fiance, and he said, "This is actually for you." And all of us around were like.
Oh yeah. The whole side of that Walk of Fame started screaming and cheering, and I'm on the other side going, what is going on over there?
Well, if it's that much applause, you can be certain that there's a Wheaton involved.
All right, next question, please.
I have a question for Will. It's for sure.
Oh, thank you very much. Rich Stevens from Diesel Sweeties makes this. Yeah, that's right.
So you read this book Ready Player One?
As a matter of fact, I have read this book right here.
Okay. But for everyone else, it's this sci-fi book that takes place in the nearest future. And there's this throwaway line that in the future you're going to be elected president of the internet.
Right.
And
Your doctor was president.
oh, I thought it was the other way around.
No. And it's a good choice. Because he's stronger on policy.
I would rather be president. So I was just wondering, if you were president of the internet, what would you do?
I would guarantee network neutrality to the entire world. That all Americans have access to internet as just as a public utility, and I would also ensure that there was fiber to everyone's home. Network neutrality means that the internet service providers are not allowed to throttle bandwidth based on bullshit. It means that every single packet of data that's sent across the internet is just a packet of data. And it doesn't matter how hot a packet of data. As long as we treat the internet, and as long as internet service providers are content agnostic, it allows web series like The Guild to become very popular, and it allows new artists and musicians to be exposed exposed to the world in a way that was impossible 10 years ago. And media conglomerates are becoming internet service providers, and they are trying to use their lackeys in Congress to pass laws that make it possible for them to destroy innovation and throttle bandwidth and basically make internet as awful as cable television. Is a series of proposals and ideas that ensures that they can't be banned.
What are you talking about?
So it'd be like Paramount owns your own Star Trek.
Correct.
So like,
And me.
so kind of neutrality is that, like, let's say Paramount got bought up by Verizon.
Yeah.
Comcast could say like, oh, Verizon owns that. We don't want people to watch it, so we're going to slow down people's computers so they can't watch it.
Are they doing that?
Right. And so that's awful.
How can that be legal?
Because the enterprise is profoundly corrupt.
What? Lackeys in Congress? No, we know about them.
Once again, will we for president?
Perform the audio version of Ready Player One because Ernie Klein is a friend of mine. And it's a magnificent book that I'm pretty confident everyone in this room will enjoy.
Everyone?
Next question is from over Seth here. Yes.
This question is for Will, and I'm a very big fan of yours.
Thanks.
As well, and I'm supporting a couple of my friends who couldn't be here today, or filming for them.
Okay.
So my question for you is, do you understand that how many fangirls have been coming up to you and have been, like, I can't get I don't have the money for your autograph.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry.
I honestly don't, and I mean, how many fangirls have been able to get your autograph today? I mean, have
I don't know.
they see you?
The way it's sort of set up, I only see the ones who do.
Honestly, I mean, I had to meet with one of my other friends and was able to get your autograph, obviously.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to give one to me because it cost too much. So, I mean, is there any possible way that maybe I could get your autograph online like that or something like that?
Well, yeah, obviously, yes. On a non-precedential basis, rest of the audience.
He says words like they actually mean something. Just because it was so emphatically, you actually believe it's a real word.
It's because I played Wesley Heflin Crusher.
Wow. Yay!
Really, we're just going to sit here and watch me do this? This is the worst theater ever. Looks like a nice autograph.
Well, I particularly Wait, are you talking to me? I'm sorry. I was thinking about that last night and about all of the people who have all of the actors who've ever appeared on any version of Star Trek. And what an awesome list of actors it is when you think of the whole.
Hey guys, behind the curtain, there's a panel going on out here.
Have a little respect for these people, not to mention us. Seriously though, I was thinking about it, and all of the films, all of the series, it's just an awesome group of actors, a great fraternity to have been a part of, and it's almost impossible to single out. There's just so many. I'll just say one. Give me Stephen Hawking.
White shoulders.
Exactly.
I really loved working with Robbie McNeil when we did the first student. Because it was, listen, I love these guys, and I love the cast, everyone in the cast, but at the end of the day, when we were doing the show, they were adults and I was a kid. And as hard as I tried to relate, and as hard as I tried to keep up, as much as I wanted to hang out, like, I was just a lame kid, and they were grown-ups, and we just couldn't make that connection. When we shot First Duty, I worked with 3 other actors who were all my same age for the entire episode. And I was like, wait, this is what it's like? And Robbie and I had so much fun together, and we've remained friends. And we actually got in trouble because we were having so much fun. It was like the second season all over again.
Yeah.
And he will forever remain just one of my favorites because the experience was so terrific.
Nice. H, do you have a favorite guest star?
No, Stephen Hawkins really was kind of a really high point for me. That was pretty amazing. And I love that rice we had in that jar once. That was pretty awesome.
All right, the ugly bags of mostly water.
Yeah, that was it.
That's a man.
Ugly bags of mostly water.
Ugly bags of mostly water.
Amazing people. So, yeah.
No, but my favorite of the ugly bags of mostly water was Cosmo, our script supervisor.
Oh, I know.
Ugly bags of mostly water line on stage.
That dear man.
That was amazing.
We had a wonderful guy.
He was awesome.
Yes, we had Cosmo. Yes.
We had, we worked with a green screen or a blue screen in those days, and we would be looking at it, and
Kids today with the green screens, you have no idea how good you got it.
yeah. But it was the view screen on the bridge. It was actually empty when we were looking at it, so we were looking at the crew and all the people, but we were supposed to be talking to people on other ships and other planets and Hogan Channel. All right. Hogan Channel.
Receiving 6,000 hails.
So Cosmo was like a sweetheart, and everyone else would be just eating sandwiches and stuff, and he'd have his script open, and he'd try to give us everything, and he'd be going, why? He'd be acting his heart out in the script, like, no, you can't. And we'd all, it would be very hard not to laugh, but he was so great. He was like,
Hello, Tom. Let me ask you a question.
The tradition of having awesome guest stars continued into Voyager. My favorite is a 3-way tie between Tom Morello, the guitarist from Rage Against the Machine, Andy Dick as the new emergency medical hologram, and the Prince, who is now the king of Jordan, actually was on our show, which was, yes. He came over to our show. We get this memo, by the way, the Prince Abdullah of Jordan will be on your show as an extra, as a background actor. And the scene was between Neelix and some other person, and myself. I was in the background with the Prince. So he gets on the set wearing a Starfleet uniform, and he's nervous. He's sitting there, what do I do? I said, well, Your Royal Highness, what you need to do is we're going to be in the background, so we're miming, we're going to be kind of opening our mouths and we're talking. So I'm going to start, and then I want you to think of a funny story that your chief of staff or security or whatever told you in the last month, and pretend I'm telling you that story. When the camera kind of comes around to your face, act as if you heard that story for the first time, act naturally. And it's, remember, think of a funny story. So I started doing it, the camera comes around, I'm like, and then the camera hits him, he's like, and that was the Prince's debut on
So do you go to Jordan and be like, what's up, border guard? I'm here to see my bro, the king.
I should do that. I'll bring you along, and we'll invite David Bowie too.
There was a tradition that followed on to the Voyager when you had the guitar player. What was it?
Tom Morello.
Oh, Tom Morello, yeah.
He was in our film.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, what was he? Yes, he was. He was in
duets with David Bowie.
He was in the one with Donna.
Don Murphy.
Yeah.
The one about the
Yeah, he was
Renaissance
in
fair.
a costume, and he's just doing comic books now. He's awesome, isn't he?
Well, we had on our show the great Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac did a guest shot.
He was a fish, right? He was a fish.
He played a fish. Yeah, he shaved his beard that he'd had for 30 years to basically to play seafood on the show. And he had one word. He beamed in with his fish head, and he had one word, and the word was food. And he couldn't remember it. He couldn't remember it. And they finally brought a card that said food on it. That's what he was doing in the 60s. Anyway.
Okay, question over there.
Going back to the comment about Wesley Epic Crusher. Back in 1988, Jonathan Frakes came to the Atlanta convention, called Dixie Track, Thunder's Applause.
I wanted to come to that, but my grandmother recently.
And he's doing his talk, and he mentions Will Wheaton, and it is answered with a cascading of boos and catcalls. I was there, and I would want to publicly apologize in front of the entire room for being part of that, because we did not know that the character was so poorly written, and it was not your fault, because you, sir, are made awesome. What was it like meeting Gerard Berry for the first time?
What's that say? 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Food, it says food.
First time I met Gene, it was a callback, the second callback, and I was so excited to meet him because I was such a huge Star Trek fan that I blew the audition. I just couldn't get over it. I couldn't get past it, and I don't know why, but they let me come back in at the same time, sort of like have a do-over, which never happens. We were I felt really close to him. I'm still really close to his son, but I don't know
Oh, okay. I kind of remember most because, see, I had not watched the original Star Trek, and I didn't know who he was when I auditioned the first couple of times, and I think I was the first woman, or maybe the first anybody to audition. And I wanted to do this play with Linda Hunt, so I had said no. And I remember this one night I got a call after I turned it down twice. And he said, "Hi, this is Gene Rodman. I'm sitting here in my jacuzzi, and I just wanted to convince you to do the show." And it was this weird conversation, but we actually ended up, we talked about religion and all sorts of, he really would love to argue with anybody. And ultimately, I did the show, and he was pretty interesting, amazing man. Yeah.
It is. But you didn't ask me, did you? I thought you asked me.
I remember meeting you when I came out of the trailer after that audition.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do.
And we knew each other from New York. It was like, oh,
yeah.
I really don't remember.
I know I met Gene several times. Maybe the most memorable was he was very nice to me, always. We were invited to his house to parties. He had the most bizarre parties, and he really did. It was crazy. And but at one time I sat next to at a table with Ann Jeffries and Robert Sterling, who had done the TV series of Topper, which I grew up watching, and I'm thrilled to be there.
great series. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
You know that Stephen Sondheim wrote a couple of episodes of that show when he was 19? Of Topper, yeah.
What was the Civil War like, guys?
network neutrality. Anyway, to continue boring Will, well, it had to do with the makeup that I wore on the show. I mean, we didn't know, they had no idea. Gene had said to me when I first met him, would you be opposed to altering your appearance? And I thought, ears, whatever. You know, I said, sure, that'd be fine. You know, thinking it was going to be something simple. And I had like 35 makeup tests that in every hue, every color, I was bubblegum pink, I was battleship gray, I had white hair like Billy, well, like me. I had long hair, I had short hair, it was every combination you can imagine. And they put them all back to back on film, and we took it in to show Gene the whole array of colors and characters. And the first one came on and he went, yeah, that's fine. And I walked out, and that's the one you saw for 7 years on that series.
I love that story. Oh yes, another question.
It was good. You know, it was meandering. You brought it back around to the end.
Yeah, that's my style.
That's right. Get through to the next round.
Yeah.
All four of you, awesome and everything that you do. This is the answer. Question for Brett. One of David's hobbies on TNG was painting.
Was what? Painting. Yeah.
Do you paint? Are you a painter?
Yeah, let's hear that. Tell us about your paintings.
I'm a very, very fine painter. I actually, not that I don't think I'm a painter. But I have nothing against
House painter.
painters.
Does house painting.
That's true. He'll paint your house.
Yeah.
You'll do a good job. Have you seen, I'm sure you haven't seen this, but have you guys seen the YouTube edits where like Data's painting, but they make it look like he's painting a gigantic penis on a horse? And then they cut in all these scenes, and like so funny. Then they cut in all these scenes of all of us like leaving. It looks like we all walked in with Data's really proud of himself. It's amazing. And then every single cast member is just like, oh!
I love the image of Will sitting in his office by himself watching his videos.
Listen, it's not just the office. It's on my smartphone, and it's on my laptop, and it's on the airplane. It's everywhere I can possibly go.
We still have nothing in common, do we?
Okay, next question.
So I know that y'all don't really keep up with, you know, the latest comic books and stuff, so...
Excuse me.
The future president does. Come on.
I'm sorry, but you weren't on the panel yesterday. And I was. I was wondering, my question is mainly for Brent, and I was wondering if you were aware of the fact that last year you were talking in a panel, you were talking about how you felt that it was really human that, you know, Data sacrificed himself at the end of Nemesis, which I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like that. Data was my favorite character. And I wanted to know if you were aware and your thoughts of that in a recent comic book, Data was actually resurrected. I don't know if that's canon or not, but you know, it was published. It says who lasting on it. So
Wow, resurrected.
yeah, he's alive now. He and Spock talk about what it's like to be dead.
You know what? I just wish Jonathan was here for this moment. He would say, he would say, well, David is Christ-like. That's what he always says. And clearly he is if he got resurrected. But yes, I was, and people have told me that, and I find it endlessly fascinating. Thank you for repeating it. You know, I nemesis. I think in our minds, there was always going to be some kind of resurrection if we did another picture. But before, and I mentioned the skater, and he said this earlier, that Data exploded in space, and but as you were leaving the theater that night, the entire Enterprise blew up behind you after the curtain came down, and all the rest of them were killed too.
He's never really dead in Star Trek. I mean, come on.
That's true.
But have you ever seen any of them?
It's like
again?
the USS NCC Patrick Duffy.
Was he on that show? He was my favorite.
Yeah, so remember the episode where he walked out of the sonic shower?
Oh, yeah.
That's your Paris kids. That's very funny.
Thank you. We'll take one more question, please. One final question.
This is for Will We Know It. Thank you all very much for coming.
Who is your character?
She's R2-D2.
No, tell them what you are.
I did a Jewish version of R2-D2 because
She has a gun on top of her head. Wow. I love that. That's good.
So Shabbat Shalom. So my question for you, Will, is I really enjoyed your appearances on The Big Bang Theory. And
It's even more fun than you think it is.
I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about if you're going to be on again and maybe give us a little details.
Generally, when they ask me, they say, "Are you available next Monday?" And then I don't see the script until Saturday or Sunday night. And they haven't asked me yet, but I'm real good friends with the cast and almost all the writers. And I can tell you that if they ask me, of course I'm going to say yes. It's really, really a lot of fun. One of the things I really love about that dynamic between Evil Will Wheaton and Sheldon is how much Sheldon loves Wesley Crusher and hates all the time. We're like, I hated Wesley Crusher, but you're okay. And it's really, really fun for me to play like the opposite of that dynamic. Making sure somebody can know that like they're not nerds. They're just unbelievable actors playing people. I'm like, oh yeah, I know the guy that's exactly like Raj,